Welcome to Living Your Path. I am Cecile Ferry, a coach and astrologer. I'm here to guide you on how to live and work in alignment with your true self so you can find fulfillment and serenity. Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to the second episode of this second season of the podcast of Living Your Path. I'm so glad to be back already here. I'm going to try to keep up with a weekly pace at the moment, definitely until Christmas, and see what happens after that. But I'm really keen to be here and so motivated to share all those things I've been working on and that have been kind of percolating at the back of my mind for the last few months. So if you're like right now, I just can't wait because I have so much to share. And don't worry, it won't be any overwhelm. And if anything right now is a bit too much and doesn't quite make sense, don't stress. Over time, it's like a journey that I'm on with you throughout this season where I'm going to build your astrological knowledge and help you applying it to your life so that you can really grow yourself thanks to it. So first of all, I want to say a big thank you to all of those that have passed on feedback on my launch last week. I got beautiful comments on my website, on the podcast. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was a great week and it was quite fun and intense to get all of that out. But I really loved it. And I also run an astrology workshop at work for my immediate team. And it was so fun. Everybody loved it and got lots out of it. So it was really cool. So before we jump in, I just need to mention something astrologically speaking today because today is the day and I could not record a podcast and not mention it. So I don't know going forward whether I'm going to be talking much on those podcasts about what's going on astrologically, but I'm definitely doing it in my newsletter. So if you're not on the newsletter, I would recommend you sign up because I offer different content there and I offer different resources. So go to my website and on the homepage at the bottom on the left, you will find a box to sign up and then you will get those emails. They're not that frequent, but I really build interesting, new, valuable content in every newsletter. So if you do like what you're getting here, that is a nice addition to it. Anyway, I need to mention something today because today, the 20th of November, when I'm recording this, is like the day astrologers all around the world have been waiting on for like 2 to 3 years. So they're all having a happy dance right now. And you'll be like, what? What's happening? And it's not bad. It's actually a good thing. And it may not make much sense to you, but I'm going to attempt to very easily break it down for you. Today, the planet Pluto is changing signs. And you'll be like, what's the big deal? Well, it's a big deal because it's Pluto. And it's a big deal because it's changing sign only once every 20 years. So Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. And this morning, it moved into Aquarius. And some of you may have heard that we're entering the age of Aquarius. So that's why everyone is really excited about that. What does that mean concretely? Well, Pluto is the planet of transformation. It's quite intense and powerful. I'm just going to leave it at that. You have Pluto somewhere in your chart. You don't know probably where it is unless you have your chart and you can look it up. I can't tell you which one, but one area of your life is undergoing a powerful transformation. That's where Pluto is. For me, it's in my house of finances, of values and self-worth. And it has been ongoing transformation since 2008. And that was done in the sign of Capricorn. And so what's happening is that transformation is still unfolding, most likely in the same area, but the flavor of it is changing. And that's why it's quite exciting because it's a lot lighter moving into Aquarius. So I know you're like, this doesn't concretely tell me. If you want to know, pull up your own birth chart. So for you, it's important to know where Pluto in Aquarius is in relation to your chart, which house it's in. If that sounds way too complex, but you're intrigued and you want to know, you know what? Drop me a DM on Instagram at Living Your Path. Just DM me and saying, hey, Cecile, I want to know what this Pluto in Aquarius means for me. and I'll guide you through it. Okay, I will do it. Anyone who wants to know, DM me. Okay, so I'm excited because for me, for instance, it's in my house of finances, and it used to be under the flavor of Capricorn, which is very hardworking, very serious, full of effort. It's all about structure, like it's hard work, basically. It's good, because it pays off and it forces you to lay the right foundation. And therefore, it makes you really change all of that if you don't have it. It's moving into Aquarius, so things are going to be a lot lighter. Aquarius is a lot more about community. It's a lot more about freedom, about expansion, about innovation, technologies, and the like. It's just a very different flavor. So for me, to grow my capacity to earn money, to build wealth, and to grow my self-worth and self-esteem, linked to those themes feels a lot better. Anyway, I won't go into further detail, but that I just wanted you to know because you may read it online and be like, what's that? And I would do you a disservice by not covering it. Okay, so today I want to talk about something I'm really passionate about, and that is the birth chart reading and the birth chart in general. I want to tell you what it is, what it brings you, and concretely how I do readings. Because I don't know if you're like me, but 2 years ago, I had no idea a birth chart even existed. Right? So maybe you already know, but I didn't. So you might be brand new to it, and that's completely okay. So I'm going to run you through it, and it's going to be concrete and simple. But this is going to give you all the knowledge about it so that you can decide if that is something that interests you. And if you do, little heads up, I've got a great offer. So let me get into all of that. So a birth chart is a snapshot of the sky at the exact time of your birth. I just love that already. I love the sound of that. So that is the first thing I need to mention here, is in order to have a birth chart, you need to know the exact details of your birth, or we cannot populate it. And by exact detail, I mean your date of birth, that most people know, your exact place of birth, because the chart pulls the latitude and longitude of that specific location, and the exact time you were born in hours and minutes. So that can be the tricky part, the time, because many of us don't know that. However, we can find the information. I have found that 90% of my clients have got that information from their moms. Try that, and if asking your mother isn't an option, try the hospital where you were born. They usually keep records. Or look for birth documents such as your baby handbook. All right, so that is number one. And it needs to be accurate. The roughly around that time doesn't work because plus or minus 10 minutes in your birth time can make a difference in your chart. And when you think about it, it's logical because the sky changes all the time. So if you take a snapshot and take another snapshot 10 minutes later, you wouldn't expect all the planets and the stars to be fixed, right? Wouldn't you? So same deal. So track it down, and then once you have it for life, and it's going to unlock the chart for you. So when you have those details, you send them to me and I'll populate your chart, which is essentially like a wheel with lots of symbols on it. It will mean nothing to you, but don't worry, it means everything to me. It's easy for me to read it. For your information, I'm going to mention a technical point here, is that astrologers use different methods and parameters to populate your chart. I'm not going to bore you with all those tech details, but just know that I use the Placidus house system. I find it the most accurate, and to be honest, so far all the readings that I've done, I have been 100% accurate. So that's why I use that one. Anyway, moving on. So we populate your chart. And so what is on that chart? The first thing I want to talk about 3 signs. So the sign coming over the eastern horizon, the moment that you were born is your rising sign. That's why it's called the rising, because the east is where the sun rises. And then there is your sun sign. This is where the sun was at the time of your birth. So that is typically your well-known star sign. And then your moon sign, where the moon was. So together, those three signs represent your personality, like three core pillars. And I will cover in a different episode what each of those signs mean and how you can tap into them yourself. But during a reading, we start there, and it's a really important part of the reading. And that alone is so important because everyone knows their sun sign, but virtually most people don't know their moon sign and rising sign. And it's like they don't know 2/3 of their personality. It is really insightful. Like, you do need those other two pillars because they will make sense to you 100%. Okay. Then what else do we look at on your birth chart when we've done those three? We look at the personal planets. So those are the closest planets to you. They are Mercury, which speaks to your communication. There is Venus. It speaks to your relationships, values, and finances. And your Mars. And Mars is your motivation and drive. So we look at where they are. And then we look at the outer planets, so that are much further, but they really leave long-lasting imprints in your life because they don't move very much over time. You have all those different planets scattered around the chart, or sometimes they're more like together. Each of them is placed in what's called a house. So the birth chart is divided into 12 houses. It's like 12 sections, if you like, of the chart, each representing a domain of your life. And so you have a house for home and family. You have a house for career. You have a house for money and self-worth, the one I just mentioned for me for Pluto. You have a house for friendships and social networks, and so on and so forth. So you have every domain of your life covered, and then you have planets placed in those particular houses. Okay? And then I will also mention that on top of the planets, we look at the nodes. So there is the South Node and the North Node. I'll cover that in a different episode. They're very cool. They are specific points in your chart that indicate your karmic journey in this lifetime. So very special, high quality information to know, because it's basically showing you where you arrive from when you're born to where you need to go, where your destiny is. It's very handy to know in order to, point your life towards that journey. It's like, you hear what is your North Star, your North Node. Okay. So to recap, we have different planets in different signs in different houses. You follow me? And that is where things start to layer, and it's quite complex for an individual without knowledge. And that's where an astrologer is going to help you interpret each placement for you. And just to complicate things further, the different planets form aspect with each other. That holds significance too. So you look at the relative position between planets, because that has meanings. Like some planets are right next to each other, like stuck. Some are right opposite, some from specific angles. Like I told you, there is a lot of layers to that. So when you get a birth chart, it has some lines and some patterns that form part of it. And these are very essential to understanding the chart. And that is what I love doing, because I get to look at all of it. I look at every detail and I connect the dots and I pull the story together and I deliver it to you in a way that is easy to understand, that is relevant, and that is meaningful and helpful, right? So that is why you pay an astrologer to get your birth chart read. You can go online, you can order one, just at the press of a button, and it will pump out some kind of an automatic report. Will it be accurate? Hopefully, if it's written by an astrologer, but it won't be personal and it won't be personalized. So if you just get a very watered down version. It's nothing compared to having your own chart read by an astrologer, because your chart is like your fingerprint. It's complex, it's multi-layered, and it's unique, but it's a source of truth. So same deal for your birth chart. That's why you need a personalized discussion about it. Okay, so now that you know what the birth chart looks like, what is it concretely going to give you? A couple of things. Number one, it will help you understand yourself, your strength, your gift, what gives you energy, what gives you emotional security and peace, and what makes you thrive. It will also show you the other tendencies associated with your personality, things that you will likely resonate with. And that is good because it kind of validates those traits that you may have been battling with during your life or be annoyed by. Like when you see that's just part of who you are, they are in your birth chart, it makes it easier to accept them as part of who you are. And it can also help shine a light on some blind spots you might not be aware of. Because the truth is, we are all a mix of positive traits and quote unquote, not so positive, negative tendencies. Nobody's perfect. We all have that, and that combination changes with each individual. But it really, really helps to know, what are the things that make you great and amazing, and what are the things for you to watch out or to work on. So that's number one. Know yourself really intimately. Number two, the best part is that the birth chart is a personal development tool. It will give you insights on your path so that you can achieve your highest potential. It's like the roadmap of your life for you, your decoder. It gives you the core elements and the direction to take in your life. It tells you how to express yourself in your life and how to behave. Isn't that the best thing ever? Because the thing is, it's accurate and it works. So you will know what is your destiny, what your career looks like at the best level for you, how to best behave in your life to have energy and vitality, what sort of relationship are going to be the most fulfilling for you, how to optimize your communication, and so on and so forth. So you get given, in all areas of your life, how to be the best expression of yourself. And no book can tell you that. No partner can tell you that. And I don't think you can guess it either, right? So it gives you that roadmap. Number three, the chart helps explain your challenges in life, your hardships, your lessons. Yeah, because we all know we have years of historical data already. We know stuff happens. We get events, we get challenges, we get setbacks, right? And we know that's part of life. And the thing is, it's not the most fun part of looking at your life, but it's important and really useful. And so with your chart, it will likely validate some events or situations you have found yourself in life and help making sense of them. You'll be like, so it wasn't just bad luck, right? It was meant to be because it's part of the lessons you're here to learn in this lifetime. Each of us has come here with a set of lessons to learn because it's through those lessons that we grow. You get given gifts and you get given lessons. We've also obviously come to enjoy the great side of life and the many things it has to offer. And we learn all of that in the chart, but also that comes with the setbacks, the lessons. And the birth chart reading will give you clarity on what those lessons are for you and what domain of your life they are, so you can focus on them, so you can sort of embrace them and keep moving forwards on your path. It's like you get enlightened, and wouldn't you rather know what you're here to master and refine and transform, for instance, as opposed to kind of have life just playing with you like a ball. I have this image. And I'd be shaken up in different direction and never understanding why, or never feeling like you have any insight into it. That's what you get with the birth chart 1 + 2 + 3. If you combine all of this, if you live your life accordingly, if you align your work with what your chart says, you adjust your communication, you tap into your strength, you develop the right relationship. If you do those things, you will live your best life, my friend, and that is guaranteed. And that is why I've called this platform and podcast Living Your Path. Because once you have the decoder, you know what it is and you do it, life flows so much more. And it's just like the best expression of yourself. So you will live your purpose. You will be in full alignment. And that will directly translate into joy, ease, happiness, pleasure, abundance. And that is so powerful. And you have the ability to have the key to that now using the birth chart. So let me share a little bit about my own birth chart reading so that you get my own kind of testimonial on it. I had it done earlier in April this year, and it was amazing, like an eye-opening experience. I had it done by Jordana Levine, the teacher of my course. We went through it. I saw my life unfolding in front of me. I saw my past. So she touched on some lessons or events that I had experienced already, like my burnout was in there. I'm like, yep, been there, done that. My present reality today, the exact thing I was actually working on, all the recent decisions, the things I was assessing in my life. And so it was cool because it actually confirmed, for instance, the direction I was taking in my business. And I also saw elements of my future because these were things I didn't know about myself that I could explore one day, or I'm just not playing in for now. And it was cool to know that, I have a potential gift there, or an ability, or I'm meant to be doing something in that space. So that's good for like future vision stuff, right? And I keep that in the back of my mind. I just don't know when that will happen in my life. So see, you get this big picture. And I also love knowing my nodal journey from South Node to North Node to know for me exactly how that plays out, because it helps me daily. It helps me make better choices for myself because it's like a compass. I'm trying to move in the right direction, and it gives me motivation to get outside my comfort zone. So the best part for me is that it confirmed my gift, my intuition, my ability to coach, to guide, to heal, to inspire, and to teach. It's all right there, loud and clear in my chart. And I would not have known that 20 years ago. And so it confirmed that this business is the right path for me. And it really helped me uncover all the spiritual side of myself, which I wasn't acquainted with years ago, to be honest. And in my chart, there were also all those placements that talk to having a successful corporate career, being a strong achiever and earning good money. Like these are all my Capricorn traits. So this has happened in my life and it's part of me. But my chart also unlocked for me those water-based signs and placement that speak to a more yin side of me that I definitely have and that I express in here, in my coaching and in astrology. So I was actually already on the path because my intuition started guiding me towards that. And then I had the reading and that was like, bang, a solid confirmation. I can see it right here in my chart. I'm on the right path. So thinking back, also being a parent, I think when we are children, it's difficult for parents to know what gifts, what path each child is born with. And what we tend to do as parents is we often kind of influence that. And kids just take after their parents because that's the only model that they have. It's totally logical. But when you do your birth chart, you might realize that you're meant to be doing something completely different, or that you're a different person, like with different gifts that you thought, or gifts you didn't know you had, pretty much. And that can be really a surprise and also like so empowering and like life-changing for you. And finally, what I want to say about what the birth chart gives you is it keeps on giving. It doesn't stop. You have this snapshot, you learn all about yourself and everything I've just described. But when you have your own chart, then you can relate it to what's happening astrologically today, this week, this month. And you can link that exactly to your own reality. And for example, when I talked about Pluto moving from Capricorn to Aquarius, You use your chart to know what does that mean for me. So if you like, you link your natal expression to what's happening in your life today. And those things today are called transits. So planets are moving, and these are additional influences into your life. There is what you're given at birth, and that doesn't mean, by the way, that your life is set in stone. I hear some people say that, or even in my family, people have been saying, does that mean you have no free will and things are set out for you? Not at all. Like I've described for you today. It's a roadmap. It's saying you have those abilities. You're gifted with that. Your specific style is this. Your preferences in relation to those domains in your life is that. It kind of shows you the way your personality and your abilities are tailored. What you do with that is completely up to you. You can choose to disregard it, but it gives you the information. It's not going to tell you, do that, become that. Or it's not going to say, like, become an accountant. It might talk about which careers would be a good fit, but there are many for you, right? So it doesn't prescribe exactly where to live, what to do, and all of that. This is entirely up to you. But it gives you the guidelines. It will tell you what will be the most you. And that's how you live in alignment with that. So it's just purely a guide. And then what's happening with the transit today is just a way to understand how you're feeling today, because it's just an additional layer to your, if you like, your birth composition, like who you are anyway. And it's like current context. And so you can tap into those transits to really have big boosts, big advances, big successes in your life today. But also those transits can be challenging. And you have those days when it's just like, can't move today. Or I don't know, I'm feeling emotional, or I'm feeling irritated, like lots of things. Like this is linked to what's happening with some transit. And it's really cool to know, to help you explain how you're feeling. So I won't go into transits today. That will be a different episode. But just know that having your birth chart is the basis that you need in order to understand transits for you. Okay, so I want to leave you last with a couple of testimonials of women that I have done birth chart reading for earlier this year. You can go onto my website. I'll put a link in the show note on my astrology page. That's the page where you can book and you can read all of those testimonials and more. But here are some examples. So Maria said the chart reading was an eye-opener of dimension. There were quite a few surprises, especially concerning my career, and Cecile showed me how I can use my strength to thrive. After embracing all of my placement, I feel so much better in my everyday life and get a better response from people. Authenticity is key, and the reading has helped me uncover what is more authentically me. Or Nicole says, something has changed in me since doing the reading. I have this new, almost unshakable confidence in what I do and doing it my way. It's kind of like, this is me, this is what I'm meant to do. I love that. And Saskia said, it was amazing to have an overall view of who I am, my strengths and weaknesses, which gives me a roadmap to go forward and focus on the right thing. It was very in-depth, clear, and interpretations were very relevant. I felt understood, and it felt reassuring to have that guiding light, something I can always get back to if I feel lost in life's busyness. Or finally, let me pick up a quote from Tamara, who says, Cecile read my birth chart and it was uncanny how accurate it was to what I had experienced in my life to date. It helped me feel more aligned to who I felt I was at my core. It stripped away negative belief and helped me reconnect with my true self in order to move towards goals I truly value. Her insights are spot on, and it was really enjoyable to hear as she walked me through my chart and how it relates to me and my future. All right, so for more testimonial, go and read more yourself. But you can hear like this exactly echoes what I've been sharing with you in this podcast episode in their own words. And that's what I also wanted to close up with, is how, like, it's so powerful, and I'm pretty sure you're convinced now how insightful it is. But also, like, once you get it done, it becomes a reference, a tool you can always get back to. And for me, it's like there was my life before I did my birth chart and my life after. And so when you have doubts or challenges, or you feel low or confused or need a boost, like I do this all the time. And I use it to look at the transit as well. And each time it helps me, it reminds me, it puts me back on the path, pretty much. So lots of future uses for you. So concretely, how does this work? Well, when you book a birth chart reading, I prepare it for you ahead of time. So I usually would spend an hour to 2 hours by myself before our session to decode everything and put the story together. And then we get on a Zoom call for an hour and 15 minutes. I will record it so you don't have to worry about taking notes on the day. And then I'll walk you through all the things I've shared with you here, the core messages of your charts and your placement, about your personality, your karmic journey, what's supporting and helping you, and where there are lessons. But this is a two-way conversation, because often a placement might mean different potential interpretations. So I run them past you. And as I said at the beginning, I want to finish off with the best part, which is I have a special launch rate on birth chart reading until the end of the year 2024. So normally my rate is $199 in Australian dollars at the time I'm recording this. And right now I have a 15% off discount until the 31st of December. So it's down to $169. It's very, very good value for something that will help you guide the rest of your life. So I also think this can make a very nice gift for the end of the year. So if there is someone you would like to give that to, and that person has their birth chart time available, you can book it yourself, put in the note that it's for a gift, and when it comes to redeeming it, you will let me know who is the recipient and their birth chart details, and I'll liaise with them directly. That is easy to do. So you will find the link to my astrology page in the show notes of this episode, and I highly, highly recommend that you check it out and you make this investment in yourself. The launch rate will go away in 6 weeks, and it will never be available at that price again. So I recommend you pick a date when you book, just to secure the rate now. And then if you want to move it to later next year, that's completely fine. And that way also, that buys you time if you need to hunt down those birth details if you need to. That is it for today. Now you know everything there is to know about a birth chart reading, and I'll be very, very honored to read your chart if this appeals to you. I really cannot think of a better tool to be living your path. If you've got any more questions about birth chart and readings, please reach out to me via DM on Instagram at Living Your Path. And if you're not following me yet, make sure you do. And I will answer every single question. All right, my friends, have a beautiful rest of the week and weekend, and I'll speak to you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.